Away from that, let's shift focus now to education matters, and about 1.2 million pupils who sat the 2022 Kenya Primary School Education Assessment exams will transition into junior secondary school at the end of the month. Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Mashogu has said that 13,221 public and private primary schools have been certified as compliant to host the junior secondary maiden class. Mashogu has also announced that results for that assessment will be accessed via the Kenya National Examinations Council portal. NTV's Leila Mohammed has more.
The Ministry of Education has set January 30th, 2023 as the reporting date for about 1.2 million learners who are moving into the second cadre of basic education under the new competency-based curriculum that is going into its 7th year of implementation.
Preparatories, I said, where they don't exist, sometimes we will be using the neighboring secondary school, because our assessment, our research has confirmed that a number of secondary schools are also within the same compound with some primary schools, and we are also going to provide some basics.
The Ministry of Education is ready to implement junior secondary school, that is grade 7 through grade 9 in existing primary schools, a departure from a previous move to have the pupils join secondary schools that had already begun expanding their infrastructure.
But even then, you can see the kind of enrollment we also have in secondary schools, such that the kind of facility that has been put up in any secondary school will be required, taking into consideration that we have 100% transition into secondary schools as they are getting into that level.
At the moment, the country has 23,000 plus primary schools, and as of Friday, January 13th, 2023, a total of 14,589 public and private schools had been assessed. 13,221 schools had been approved to host the junior secondary school classes. The ministry will conclude its month-long assessment by the end of the week.
Kenya said yes, this is a good system. It has to undergo a little bit of review, and 82% of Kenyans said this has to be domiciled in primary schools.
With that change of plan, the government is set to inject 36,000 new teachers into the junior secondary space.
We still have a shortage, but this is a transition period where we have to do everything possible to ensure that JSS has teachers.
TSC CEO Nancy Macharia also notes that teachers with extra qualifications at the primary level will be absorbed into junior secondary.
If the average load for secondary school, since we have not changed that, as now is 27 lessons, that teacher who has been picked then will just teach the 27 lessons in the secondary school and will not now be expected to go back and teach in primary schools.
The government has already pumped in 9.6 billion shillings towards CBC transition into junior secondary school, with the ministry setting a capitation of 15,000 shillings per student.
There will be no school fees payable in any of our public schools, because you know that this is the constitutional requirement.
Learners in junior secondary will be required to look different. The ministry has tasked school boards of management to engage parents and agree on new uniforms.
Uniform, as I've said, we have left the board of management.
Primary school heads have been given guidance on how to register their junior secondary students.
The ministry will use the NEMIS platform for efficient and effective management and monitoring of runners in the school system. In this regard, principals are directed not to admit students on NEMIS before they physically report to their school.
The ministry has also given guidelines on the issue of textbooks.
Some publishers may be having books which you can write on, but what we give to our schools as core books.
Before they begin grade 7, the class of 2022 will receive their performance report via the Kenya National Examinations Council portal on Tuesday, January the 17th.
As the country now moves forward into the secondary section of the CBC curriculum, the Ministry of Education is now awaiting that all-important report by the Presidential Special Task Force on Education that is coming up at the end of March for them to be able to make the critical changes required to better place the curriculum going forward. Leila Mohammed, NTV, Nairobi.